of the memories of that night, and then the weeks after that. You know, people that don't live here in Orlando experienced Pulse for a day or maybe a week. The national press was here that long, but the people here in Orlando are still experiencing Pulse 9 years later.
Have you received any sort of feedback from city staff, the families or survivors about these visits and what has that
I
feedback been?
think that everybody's in a different place. Not everybody's having the same response. I did hear that there was one mother that wanted to see the exact location of where her son passed away. So I'm sure there are people that are like that. I'm guessing that most of the families had never been inside Pulse even when it was a nightclub. So it's a different experience just to kind of understand the space. But it's also much different than it was on a party night with a dance floor and a DJ and all the lights going. It's bare walls in there, and you're really just seeing the space, which we consider to be a sacred space.
What's it like for you to think it's now been 9 years?
You know, in some ways, it's hard to believe that it's been 9 years. And one of the things that impacts me is immediately after we had some other horrific events. Las Vegas comes to mind, where we reached out and sent people to the location to help out because unfortunately we had some expertise in how you set up assistance after the fact. But then there became so many, it was hard to give our assistance. It seemed like there was a new mass shooting just about every week now. So that's one thing that I reflect on 9 years later, is just how typical it is to have one of these. No, they're more just assisting the victims. I think that their investigation was over really a long time ago.
And speaking of the FBI investigation, as you well know, there's been a lot of frustration from day one regarding some of the family's concerns. Could we get your feelings about what happened yesterday as far as the families were upset that their questions were not answered by the FBI?
I think it was really just one instigator who has not been productive in the process that caused whatever issues there were. So I don't think that's a general feeling among 95% of the families. I get from the rest of the families that they're thankful for what's been done for them and the opportunity to go in the building. There has been somebody that has been very troublesome to staff and really has been a second terrorist.
Mayor, obviously, since the incident, the site has kind of been frozen into time, and we're on the precipice of it being demolished and replaced with a memorial. What kind of feelings do you have around that sort of change that's occurring on the site 9 years later?
Well, I wish it had occurred a lot earlier and that it was already done. Obviously, the One Pulse Foundation had the building for 7.5 years. We've just taken it over in the last year and a half. We want to make sure that we do it right, but it's kind of hard coming in after it's already been 7.5 years and having to take it over and then rebuild trust, rebuild transparency, because a lot of people are asking the question, where did the money go that One Pulse raised? But that was a private organization that the city didn't have anything to do with. We're going to do this right. We have involved the victims and the families in terms of the potential conceptual design, and we'll go through our regular procurement process to get a design build contractor, and hopefully we will have it and cut a ribbon on it in the summer of 27.
Two more questions. Walk us through what's going to happen the rest of today and then the next 2 days.
So we will continue today and the next couple of days with the site visits. We're doing small groups. You probably realize that, 1 or 2 families at a time, and we want to do it in a way that is most productive for them. Later this evening at 5:30, we have a memorial service at First Methodist Church downtown that I would invite all of your viewers to come attend, and those are really the two things that are happening for the rest of the weekend.
Was the state just reallocated the funding for the memorial that had been done years ago? How does that, or does that help the city get maybe some private donors on board?
So every little bit helps. So the county has agreed to contribute $5 million. We're buying the 2 pieces of property, plus putting in $7.5 million. State's putting in $350,000, I think. So that's a help. But you have to remember, we raised $34 million into the city's foundation, that we distributed 100% of that money to the victims and the families. Then One Pulse raised whatever money they have raised. So a lot of people have donated twice already, and we're going to go back to some of our our private partners and have them contribute as well. But it's just a little more difficult to ask them a third time to dip into their coffers for that.
Thank you guys so very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.